Well, welcome back to MSP After Hours. We have Nick Wolf with us today. Now, Nick, this is not your first rodeo with us, is it?
It is not. I'm happy to be on again. Thanks for having me.
So it looks like you have a little bit of a different background. What's going on with you, buddy?
Yeah. So earlier this year, I joined Cork as their director of partner acquisition. It was definitely a bittersweet moment leaving Evo Security, but super excited to be still working with MSPs here in the channel over here at Cork now.
Yeah. So, what is Cork?
So Cork is a cyber warranty company for MSPs. So basically, it gives them the ability to provide financial protection to their end user customers uh, as supplemental coverage to cyber insurance without needing to go through a broker or fill out a cybersecurity insurance questionnaire or anything like that. So ultimately, protecting the clients financially during a cybersecurity incident.
So, I've heard about this thing before, and as an MSP owner, I kind of shake my head. And I go, "What is this about?" I mean, are we just linguist, linguistically changing words so that maybe we get around certain requirements and things of that nature. But tell me, like, from an MSP's owner's perspective, when they are talking to clients, what's the real difference between when we talk to them about cyber liability insurance versus cyber warranties? Like, how do you differentiate the two?
Yeah, so I like to compare it to the auto industry. So in the auto industry, you have car insurance and you have a car warranty, and both of those things cover different areas. Car insurance is when you're driving your car and you run into an accident, you hit a pole, something out of the blue happens. You want to make sure that your car is repaired and financially covered. When I think about a car warranty, I think about proactive and remediating things before an accident actually occurs. So that's going to be things like your engine's going wrong, or there's a part or component in that car that's going a little wonky that you want to fix to lower the likelihood of an accident ever happen. And the way that most car warranties are being done is through a check engine light, right? You're driving in the car, something weird happens, that check engine light comes on, you bring the vehicle into the shop, and they're going to fix it free of charge. Cyber insurance, similar to car insurance, again, something unexpected happens, a ransomware attack happens, and you need financial compensation to recover. Where Cork comes into play is we're providing a financial warranty, which overlaps a little bit with cyber insurance, but in a lot of ways, it also overlaps with a car warranty. With Cork, you could think of us as a check engine light for your MSP. So we're proactively looking at the entire cybersecurity stack of an end user's environment, looking at their RMM tools, their EDR tools, or MFA tools, and proactively alerting them for any sort of lapses in coverage. Because in order to qualify for most warranties and cyber insurance policies out there, you need to have MFA turned on, you need to have EDR installed, you need to have backups being occurred. And one of the advantages of doing a cyber warranty is they're able to proactively alert you if EDR gets uninstalled, if MFA gets uninstalled. Now, luckily with us is that even if it goes undetected or something along that nature happens, we're still able to provide a financial payout similar to the way that cyber insurance does it. So we're still giving clients hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of financial compensation as long as they're utilizing the cyber warranty platform.
So, is it does Cork believe in both utilization of cyber liability insurance and warranty, or are there some circumstances where, and let's just talk about cyber warranty or warranties in general. Is that something that oftentimes is standalone?
Yeah, so I would say every small business out there should absolutely have cyber insurance as well as paired with a cyber warranty because a cyber warranty typically covers things that aren't covered by a cyber insurance policy. Like, for example, typically with cyber insurance, you might have to wait around several weeks or several months to get a financial payout. Whereas
Sure.
typically with a warranty, whether it's through Cork or someone else, typically those warranties are going to pay out claims in a matter of days. So it's giving that small business cash when they need it.
Okay.
Additionally, with a cyber warranty, they're typically covering things like wire transfer fraud or wire transfer losses, phishing attack payments, gift card payments, things of that nature if you're running into any sort of phishing scams. And again, traditionally, most cyber insurance policies don't cover things like that. Cyber insurance policies typically cover the big things like ransomware payments, business interruption losses, data recovery services, things of that nature. But the trade off there with cyber insurance is that most of the time you're going to be running into very high deductibles on top of the annual premiums that you have to pay. It's not uncommon for an end user to have to pay $10 or $20,000 as a deductible in order to activate their $2 or $3 million cyber insurance policy. That's where pairing that cyber insurance policy with a warranty would make a lot more sense because most warranties are going to cover that cyber insurance deductible.
Yeah, I could see that. So what you're saying basically is that uh, Cork is able to do this because they're, let's just be really direct in saying that they have their fingers in MSPs uh, platforms, consoles, and things of that nature. Is that correct?
Yep, that's very correct. So typically, and I'll just refer it back to cyber insurance. So typically, when an end user wants cyber insurance, the broker is going to send them a very lengthy security questionnaire. A million pages long. Do you have EDR? Do you have
Sure.
MFA? All these questions, and then the MSPs are in a tough spot where the end user is sort of asking for the MSP's guidance on filling out those questions, right? Now, the MSP, that sort of opens them up to liability if they answer one of those questions wrong. They still want to do what's right about the client, but at the end of the day, they're not really making many money in this process. The only person making money there is the insurance broker because they're the ones that are reselling the insurance policy to the end user. Whereas if the MSP was reselling warranty to the client to give them financial coverage, they would be able to still give the client hundreds of $1,000s worth of financial coverage without the burden of having to go through a broker. It's the MSP that's making all the margin there. And the reason why they're able to make that margin without having to give the client a giant questionnaire saying, "Hey, do you have EDR? Hey, do you have MFA?" is because our warranty is tying into the cybersecurity stack of the MSP. So we know what the end user is using for RMM, for EDR, for MFA, for backup, for email security. We're tying into essentially the APIs of the MSP's cybersecurity tech stack. And we are really vendor agnostic. We know that there's a lot of kids in the sandbox and we want to play nicely. So I don't care if the MSP is using Datto RMM, Ninja RMM, Kaseya ConnectWise, or Sentinel One EDR, Huntress EDR. It doesn't really matter to us. We're going to work with all of those players.
So how in the world of, well, where we are today, uh, we're finding that we have to dig deeper than just the surface level stuff when it comes to a security perspective. When we look at, when we talk about HIPAA and we talk about BAAs and we talk about making sure that those who have access to our data has risk assessments or whatever it may be, it's important for MSPs to start to look downstream at anyone that has access to any of their data. What does Cork do from a security perspective to make sure that what they have access to, they are protecting and ensuring that they're keeping the data safe? So
Yeah.
that
So,
Cork
so
doesn't become the back door for someone that something else.
100%. That's a perfect question. So, from a security standpoint, with Cork, no hardware is getting deployed, no software agent is getting deployed. We're getting read only access to the APIs of your cybersecurity tech stack. So, we're more alerting you as opposed to like actually adjusting any configurations or doing any remediation. So, that's something to point out is that, yes, even though we're monitoring the client's cybersecurity infrastructure, we are not a SOC, we're not an MDR. So, we could tell you things like, hey, your client has 14 endpoints of Ninja RMM, but only 12 of those 14 endpoints have Huntress EDR installed on it. We can alert you to that and say you're in a lapse of coverage here because all of those endpoints need to be protected by some form of EDR, but we can't actually install the EDR or whatever piece of software that you want. We're not making any configurations that way. We're just alerting you to any sort of lapses in coverage that would possibly deny your warranty claim or, in essence, your insurance claim if you're using insurance as well.
Sure, but the data itself is at risk. And what I mean by that is, so for example, somebody compromises one of your devices and that person has access to whatever solution you are using to pull in all of this data and then to sort of sort it in some methodology so that you can find those missing pieces. But if there's a missing piece, then someone else could know about it as well, potentially, if they were to. So I'm really digging deep into when Cork has access to someone's MSP's data and there's a gap, Cork knows about that gap. And if somebody were to ever compromise Cork
Oh,
in a
as an
certain way,
exploit saying, "Hey,
they
this
can
client."
then
I
see.
I see. You know what?
Yeah,
That's actually the first time that I've heard about that. That is definitely a unique expense or a point there. Because what a lot of our MSPs are doing is they're using that as a selling tool when they get the visibility.
sure,
When they are able to see that, hey, all five of their clients have EDR, but only four out of the five of the clients have email security in place for phishing protection, or only four out
right,
of the five have security awareness training in place. That's when they're able to go into the dashboard and use that as an
sure.
upsell opportunity, saying, "Hey, client, for whatever reason you don't have security awareness training in place, let's work on a plan to get that sold." Now, how we're keeping that data secured is, again, everything's hosted within our private data center, and in order to log into the dashboard to even view that data, we have MFA for all those online accounts,
Mhm.
and a
Okay,
lot of the security measures that we built here at Cork is actually in thanks to some of the advisors that we have in our team. For example, we have Ryan Reeks as one of our advisors. He runs the Right of Boom conference. Before that, he was Datto's chief information security officer, and we have he works with our talented team of security engineers here.
or, does the whole staff, reside within the US?
Yep, yep,
That's good.
U.S. based. Yep.
So, yeah, so I don't, and I don't wanna I wanna pinpoint that as just a questionable spot. So, is there any idea, or plan for Cork to do, like, SOC 2 type stuff or,
So we already
y
SOC 2 Type 1, and we're going through our SOC 2
okay,
Type 2 audit as we speak.
okay, so that is in that's coming.
Correct. Well, we're
Okay,
going through
good.
the audit because, like, once you start it, you have to wait the audit period. So we're in the audit period right now.
Okay, great. So let's say that company A decides they want to, MSP company A decides they want to start selling this stuff. What's the process like from a perspective of becoming, offering this? Is there liability or risk in something that they need to know about regarding what Cork does and doesn't do? Because the cyber warranty is a new thing for me. I mean, I've heard about it, but it's not been something I've really been interested to dabble in. So, for
Yep.
those that are listening that say this is something interesting and maybe something we can do, but where are the red flags?
Yeah, sure thing. So I guess I'll start with we're warranty, we're not insurance. Depending on the client's claims, that's something that I want to point out here. Our maximum warranty that we're ever going to pay out is up to $500,000. So if you're dealing with a bigger institution that needs
Hmm,
a multi-million dollar policy, 5, 10, 20 plus million dollars, then by all means do indeed go get a proper cyber insurance, because cyber insurance is amazing, and we could sell the Cork warranty as supplemental coverage, because odds are if your clients have that $5 or $10 million cyber insurance policy, there might be a $25,000, $50,000 deductible that you have to pay into. And with us, we're paying out that 25, $50,000, whatever it is, cyber insurance deductible.
So for example, MSPA, Sales Cork, um, their client A is compromised, they get with insurance, it's gonna be a deductible, and of course, generally, the deductibles are pulled out of, the reimbursement, so versus, writing a check, it's just that there's a responsibility on the business to take part of that,
And
and so
that's the
some
negative thing, is
situations.
because,
Yeah,
yeah, most small
sure. S
businesses, they might only have, a week
Yeah.
worth of capital. And
So how does that work with Cork? So how does company A with MSPA that is delivering this service, how do they get that
Got it.
reimbursement?
So from a liability standpoint, even though the MSP is reselling the warranty to the client, the warranty agreement is going to be between Cork and the end user directly. So the MSP is not liable for any payments or anything like that. If end
Sure.
user, let's call them Bob's accounting firm, they get popped $20,000 wire transfer fraud or something, we would be the one writing the check directly out to Bob's accounting firm.
Okay.
Yep.
If you have a gap, right? There's a company that has EDR missing on 2 devices,
Yep.
and you notify, but those are the 2 that get hit.
Yep.
Whatever, as random as it may happen, those are the ones that get hit. What happens there with their coverage?
Yep. So when we notice a lapse of coverage, because again, say Bob's accounting firm, they have 14 machines, all 14 have your Sophos EDR on it, great. But one day, two of those machines get Sophos uninstalled. That's going to be a lapse of coverage, because all of those endpoints need some form of EDR installed on it, whether it's Sophos, Sentinel-1, Bitdefender, whoever. So during a lapse of coverage, what we do at Cork is we proactively notify our MSP saying, hey, your clients are about to enter into a lapse of coverage because EDR isn't installed on all the machines. You got to turn EDR back on. That way we can financially pay them out. The MSP will have 72 hours to remedy the situation. So get Sophos back installed or whatever EDR is installed on that machine. Beyond 72 hours, if the attack begins at one of those two vulnerable endpoints, you're not eligible for the warranty coverage at that point. So we're giving a nice 3 or so day grace period to,
Okay.
which is we would feel is more generous than most cyber insurance policies do, because cyber insurance, again, they'll just go back to you and say, "Hey, remember when you filled out that lengthy security questionnaire 6 months
Right.
ago? You
It's
said
not right.
EDR was installed.
Mhm.
It's not.
Yeah.
You're not covered."
Yeah, and it is nice to have a couple days, although a couple days isn't a lot, but I do get that. Um, how has the MSP industry taken Cork and the likes of the warranty aspect?
Yeah, so it's definitely a brand new offering. Like, look, there's a lot of great vendors in the industry. There's a lot of great EDR vendors, a lot of great MFA vendors, a lot of great security awareness training vendors that are out there. But when it comes to
Sure.
cyber warranty, and especially cyber warranty that MSPs in particular can resell to their SMBs, really Cork is sort of the first of the time, first of its kind. So we've been really taken by storm, and a lot of it is really because of our story and our team here. Not only do we have something that's new and unique that MSPs can make money on, but it's the team that's bringing it to you as well.
Now, when someone does pay for that, as we talked about, I think off our recording, it's a monthly fee. If someone pays that monthly fee, you're in the middle. Is it in advance or is it in the rear?
It's in advance.
Okay. So if I've paid for January 2025 and we're middle way through January 2025 and we have a lapse, what happens is that in the warranty gets canceled for that client temporarily until they come back in after 3 days? And if so,
So
what about the
the warranty
payment?
necessarily wouldn't be canceled. It would just be voided on those particular endpoints. Because again,
Okay.
say an
Okay.
organization has say an organization has 20 endpoints and
Okay.
all 20 have EDR today, but tomorrow only 18 of those endpoints have EDR. Well, those 18 endpoints are still going to be protected under the warranty, because the way that we sell our warranty isn't necessarily by endpoint or by user, it's by
Sure.
organization. So it's
Sure.
possible for an organization to still qualify for the warranty on a select amount of machines.
What's the requirements?
So the bare minimum requirements to get a Cork warranty is you need to have RMM installed on the endpoints. Again, we don't care which RMM it is. There needs to be EDR installed on those endpoints. Again, I don't care which EDR it is. WebRoot, Sophos, Bitdefender, you get to pick. If your clients have a cloud-based email like Office 365, there needs to be MFA turned on for those cloud-based emails, whether it's Evo Security, Duo, Microsoft Authenticator, Google Authenticator, you get to pick. And then the last requirement is that if your clients have on-prem physical servers, those physical servers need to have some sort of off-site backup, whether it's data backup, Veeam, we don't care. Again, so those are really the four things. And because we're able to tie into the APIs of all those vendors, we're able to see in advance that, yep, this end user over here already has those four things. They can instantly qualify for a warranty. So the MSP within their Cork dashboard can buy warranties and be good to go. I don't have to send the end user a giant security questionnaires asking them if they have backup, if they have EDR, because I'm going to see it in advance.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting process. Do you think that, like insurance, do you think that list will expand on the requirements? And then the other question is how do you validate so often thought about this from a compliance perspective. There's many compliance models that say you need to have an EDR solution. And sometimes this is where I get into where compliance sometimes is a checkbox because it says you have to have EDR, but it doesn't say you have to have EDR and it has to be blocking all of these things and has to be enabled for this and that and turned on
Yep.
in a certain way. They don't get granular. It just basically says, do you have EDR? So, from Cork's perspective, it's just a matter of making sure it has it, or is there
Do you have EDR? That's what we look
okay,
for. Do you have EDR?
okay,
Yep.
okay. So, if there's a setting configuration that may not be a
Correct.
certain way, you don't talk about that. It's just a matter of that
We
you know
don't
it's
care.
on, it's running, and it's looking essentially.
Correct.
Huh,
Correct.
that's interesting. Um, are there circumstances that outside of missing that you outside of the 3-day gap that you offer, a little bit of leeway from a notification perspective once a device or something isn't matching, you get the 3 days, and then those devices will be void until you've got them up to your expectations, the standards. Is there anything else outside of that that would cause something to not be paid?
Something to not be paid. No,
Yeah.
that's realistically it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's the main advantage of Quark is you get the proactive notifications to the of lapses of coverage. Yeah.
Mm, okay.
And again,
Um,
we have 2 warranties, $100,000 warranty, a $500,000 warranty. $500,000 warranty will cover more enhanced benefits like ransomware payments, business interruption losses, data recovery
okay.
services, things of that nature. Whereas the more basic $100,000 policy will cover phishing attacks, gift card scams, wire
Okay.
transfer losses, things of that nature.
So it's not uncommon, and it is known that when you have cyber liability insurance and you have an incident, that they basically will hold you to not remediating anything until they get their forensics involved to be able to understand what happened. So there is a situation where we've had this where they say we got to hold because we got to analyze. If you go and restore everything, we lose all the data that would have given us the ability to understand what happened and where this came through or how it came through. Uh, and those are just certain circumstances where that would happen. If that were a situation and there was a loss of business because they couldn't come back up for say 6 days because the insurance company was doing a deep dive into this massive incident, would that be
Yep.
something that Corp could help pay for?
Yeah. So if you're using our $500,000 warranty, that would count as business interruption losses.
So it's not on the lower level, that's only on the 500,000.
Correct.
Is this a per incident, annual, lifetime payout? What
So
is it?
$500,000 in this example would be the annual coverage you would get for the warranty.
So if you end up using it all in
Yep.
January, you're good, you're done for the rest of the year, essentially.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's hope that never happens, but
Let's hope
what
that never
else do
happens.
yeah, for sure. What else do MSPs need to know about the difference between cyber liability insurance and,
Yeah.
and a
So
warranty that we haven't covered?
Yeah, so I'll just point to some of the statistics. So about a third of SMBs that are out there can't qualify for cyber insurance for whatever reason, and about a third of those that do qualify for cyber insurance often end up getting their claims denied. Again, going back to the security questionnaire, yeah, you might check that box in January, but something will change in your configurations in March or April. You know, that's where the insurance provider is going to say, "Hey, you told us X, but really Y is what's set up in your environment. That's why we're denying your claim." And MSPs are sort of in this awkward spot where they want to do right by their clients. They want to help them with the security insurance questionnaires, but I'm sure the MSP's lawyer is probably like, don't touch that with a 10-foot pole because that opens you up to liability for the end user saying, well, my MSP told me to check that box. And all of this is happening. And again, the MSP isn't making money because the MSP can't sell insurance because they need a broker's license. But a
Correct.
warranty, you're going to find out you're checking a lot of the same boxes. Is there a financial payout? Yes. Is the client able to get a payout in a matter of days? Yes. Does it give more visibility to the MSPs? Yes. Most importantly, is the MSP making money here? Yes.
So normally when you deal with cyber liability insurance as well, there's you kind of well, to some degree you understand where the money is. Like how is it funded? And I don't know if like I can ask that so directly, but if every one of Cork's clients had a claim that was
Yeah.
maxed out, does Cork survive that?
Yeah. So, long story short, we have our own reinsurance captive company that we pay into. So, like when I
Okay.
sell a warranty through an MSP, like that money really isn't Corks yet. It has to go into the fund to pay out, future payouts. Now, if that fund gets depleted because a lot of people get popped, that's reinsured by a third party A+ rated reinsurance company called
That's what I was
Hiscox.
asking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
Hiscox.
yeah,
Okay.
there
Sure.
is extra money. Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wanna make sure. I meant to I needed to be direct, but I wanted to be
Yeah, we're
direct.
not hiding anything here. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
there was
it's it's a new space, and so,
it is.
there's
It totally
there's
is.
questions, and, until you become more normal to where people don't ask those types of questions, because everyone knows that, and I would think anyone that's dealing with insurance, is familiar with Hiscox, so that's not gonna be a great debate.
Yep.
Anything else? Anything else that MSP owners need to know about when and where to use it, when not to use it? Is it always recommended from a, and I know this from a sales perspective, I'm not talking about the sales perspective, but from the real true value perspective, is there places where it probably shouldn't be done?
If you're dealing with a lot of co-managed IT customers where you don't necessarily have access to an RMM agent on all those devices, that's where Quark would probably be, less valuable because again, you
Sure.
can't apply a warranty if you as the MSP aren't controlling that technology stack and infrastructure and the RMM. So if you're dealing with an organization that's maybe it's co-managed or it's an organization that has tens of thousands of employees, realistically, if they're that big, they're going to need a multi-million dollar cyber insurance policy and they're going to have the budget for it as well. Whereas
Sure.
typically, what we're accomplishing here at Cork with our $100,000, $500,000 warranty plans is that it's designed for small businesses that can't
Mhm.
wait around for weeks for an cyber insurance audit to come around and say, we're paying you, you're not paying you. A small business that doesn't really want to invest the time with filling out a 50-page cyber insurance security questionnaire, or a small business that ultimately can't afford to pay, tens of thousands of dollars in an insurance deductible and or insurance premium this year. So
Sure.
again, the smaller the better is typically good use cases for core.
Makes sense. I guess the last question I have, you talked about Microsoft 365. Do you use some sort of like a enterprise app to get that integration to be
It's
able
all
to
done via
see the MF?
API. So we're getting the
Okay, okay,
APIs keys from Microsoft, from whatever RMM you're using, etc. So that makes it very, very lightweight. So once the MSP establishes the API connections within Cork, we're seeing the security posture of all your clients, whether they end up buying a Cork warranty or not.
okay.
And
So
we
you
make it
show them
easy
they
for.
okay.
Go ahead.
So uh, so you see when you get the interactions, you see the list of all their clients and all that data. Does when whether an MSP likes that or not, I guess that varies. Do you give the ability for inside of that interface, they see the list of the clients and see the people who are approved, who already meet the requirements?
Yep.
So there's
So
like
they're instantly
an
going to see that, well,
opportunity
these are my
list or
five
something?
yeah, exactly. These are my five customers. Four out of the five of them have EDR checking in, RMM checking in, MFA and backups checking in. I could click here and buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now. Oh, why can't I sell to this guy though? Oh, it's because this guy, for whatever reason, doesn't have EDR turned on or mapped to the endpoints.
Hmm, okay. What's this from a from the MSP's perspective when it comes to selling this, or to, having the conversation about it? What does Court provide to help them with the understanding, of really what a warranty is and how to, because it can be confusing to understand the difference between that and cyber liability insurance. So how does Cork help the
Yeah.
MSP?
Yeah, so we have tons of marketing materials that we could send out their way on our YouTube page. There's a lot of animated explainer videos and podcasts and webinars that we've done in the past. Really, when MSPs are selling a cyber warranty to clients, there's two ways they could sell it. They could sell it individually a la carte, or they can bundle it together as a line as part of their cybersecurity package. So, hey, Mr. Client, I'm so confident in these services I'm selling you. I'm backing it by a $100,000 warranty should anything fail. Another way that a lot of my MSPs are selling it is by having a conversation with their clients and encouraging them to, if they have cyber insurance, keep cyber insurance, but raise the deductible on that cyber insurance. Because this happened about a month ago with one of my other MSPs, Chris Bond. He had one of his clients increase the cyber insurance deductible on their $2 million cyber insurance policy from $5,000 to $25,000. The end user ended up saving about $3,000 a year on their annual cybersecurity insurance payment. They used that $3,000 in savings to not only pay for Cork's cyber warranty, which is acting as that supplemental gap coverage, but they're pocketing an extra couple $100 a year on top of that. So in that example, the client ended up getting more coverage for less money, all because they raised their cyber insurance deductible with their insurance provider.
because court could cover.
because Cork is
Which
now covering that cyber insurance deductible for a fraction of the cost.
and even on the low plan that Cork offers, that's
Even on the
included,
low
correct?
plan, we're going up to $100,000. Yeah.
What's not covered between 500 and the 100,000? You mentioned
So
earlier,
yeah, so what's not covered
business
on the
interruption.
what's not covered on the $100,000 is that we're not paying out ransomware payments, business interruption losses, data recovery services. Both of our
So
plans are going to get that proactive monitoring where we're alerting you to lapses of
mhm,
coverage. Both of the plans you're going to cover wire transfer fraud or phishing attack payments,
sure.
things of that nature.
When it comes to the sell, it's done. The MSP makes up the decision for what they're going to charge for that service. They pay Cork for it. They then sign the agreement, but the agreement really, when it comes to the warranty side, the agreement is separated out, and the agreement is between the client and Cork directly. Is that correct?
Correct. So once the MSP buys the agreement, they're going to insert the end user's email address. That is where the Cork agreement gets emailed to. The end user is going to accept the agreement, and that's when the agreement is activated. Essentially,
Okay. And then from there, obviously, they're going to be able to read the fine print, all of the print, correct? And
yeah,
so
it's going to be
you'll have
there, and
that
of
that
course, they could
agreement.
always review. They could always review the fine print before it's actually sold. It's
Okay,
our
so
warranty
okay,
agreements are
okay.
available through the Cork dashboard that all MSPs have access to, and the
So you
only
just send it
minimum
to
for
them
an
and have
MSP
them
to
read
get
it.
Yeah, and the only minimum for an MSP to gain access to the dashboard is just one license getting assigned to an account, and that can be
Okay.
deployed at any client they want in the future.
So basically, you buy one license or one tenant or one
Yeah, you
company.
buy one warranty license that could get assigned to any client you want in the future. From there, we'll be able to onboard you with all your APIs so you can get that visibility, as well as give you all the sales, marketing, co-branded assets, etc.
What about the MSP side?
Yeah, so we can't MSPs have a very high risk, as you know. You see, a lot of more insurance brokers are not even covering MSPs to protect themselves. We absolutely want to provide a warranty for MSPs to buy and use internally to protect themselves. We're working with our reinsurers right now to establish that, and we're going through a risk analysis for it. It's not something that we could sell today, but we're expecting before spring, summer that there's going to be a warranty policy that MSPs can buy and use internally to protect themselves in addition to selling it to the clients.
Is there any down the road idea? Uh, I always so even years ago, I talked about this. I was trying to find a video where I saw this, but back when cyber reliability insurance started to look like it was shifting, I likened it to the health insurance plans where people started to have to pay if they were smokers, and if they were in bad health, they had to pay additional fees and such. And then there was a point where I said, at some point, cyber reliability insurance are going to have their fingers in your stuff. At some point, they're going to start looking at this as saying, no, we're not going to let you self attest anymore. You can't just tell us you've got it. You have to continuously prove it. And so we're going to, maybe it's APIs and things of that nature. So my question is there a plan maybe down the road for Cork to offer competitive, highly competitive rates with cyber reliability insurance plans based upon the fact that Cork has that integration already?
Would that be cool? Would that be hypothetically speaking, because Cork is seeing all that data in real time and the end user already has bought the Cork warranty,
Yep.
that lowers their risk
Yes.
of getting
Yes.
compromised, which is in the insurer's best interest to
It
now
is.
sell them a plan because they're seeing that data in real time.
Yes,
So wouldn't it be
I do
cool
think
to
that's
add
valuable. Yeah, I
yeah.
do. I think that if Cork, let's say the likes of Cork, the likes of a warranty company that can say, "Look, we would like to be able to help the carrier have less risk and introduce even higher than expected retention plans because you're not going to need these low things, and you get paid and they get covered." And I do
And
think that
because their risk is lower, the cyber insurance should actually cost a fraction of the cost if they bought it that way, as
correct.
opposed to dealing with the broker directly.
That's correct.
Um,
Yes, that's correct.
it's like you have a little fortune cookie or something predicting the future there. I don't want to
I
spoil the roadmap.
Yeah.
All I'll say is stay tuned for some exciting announcements that will probably happen before the end of summer.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I've seen that coming for a while and thought
Yeah.
it's just a matter of time. I mean, even when people weren't even filling out much of an application, I knew it was coming at a point they were just gonna start being they were gonna be just like healthcare, health insurance. And so it just seems like these are starting to become more and more, health insurance has all your data. They get all your notes and everything else. So they know everything about you already. So
Yep.
it's just a matter of time. So yeah, sounds good. Any parting words, Mr. Nick? Now let me tell you, the next time you're on this show, you better still be with Cork.
Yeah. No, no, no. I'm here for the long
uh,
run. Again,
okay.
like I mentioned earlier, Cork is created by a lot of the team members that I've worked with in the past during a prior life.
Yeah.
So super excited to be here working with a lot of the same team members again.
Well, this isn't a normal, we don't normally get into the different vendor type things from the MSP After Hours perspective, but I think it was definitely a value to be able to help people understand what the difference between insurance, liability insurance, and a warranty is because it's confusing. And hopefully this time that you've given us will help us have some understanding as to how we can talk to our clients about it and how we can actually put it into to action to even lower the rates for our clients.
Yep. My parting words are cyber insurance, cyber warranty, both offer financial protection to the client. Both are very, very important. The client should have both. At the end of the day, as an MSP, an insurance you can't resell, can't make money on. A warranty you can resell, you can make money on it.
Until the government decides they want to cover that up too. Right. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. All right. I really appreciate your time, Nick. Thank you so much. Look forward to having you on again. Until next time, see you later,
Thanks,
man.
Craig. Appreciate
See
it.
you. See ya.